Life is a sea of suffering, and this is not only a teaching from Buddhism, but also an obvious truth that every human being must go through. From birth to death, people have to face countless ups and downs, from worries about food and money, illness, loss to inner turmoil. But is suffering an unchangeable fate? Or can we create our own path, overcoming the storms of life by living mindfully and recognizing each moment of the present? In this journey, we will explore how to transform suffering, find happiness from simple things, and realize the true value of letting go. Suffering is an inseparable part of life. It is present everywhere, from daily worries to great losses. Buddhist philosophy shows that suffering originates from human greed, anger, and ignorance. But more importantly, the Buddha also showed the way to overcome suffering through mindfulness and training the mind. A story that illustrates this is the story of a rich man who lost everything in a fire, but still smiled and accepted adversity as an opportunity to start over. He realized that his wealth could be lost, but his spirit and determination were things that no one could take away. In life, the intelligent person can achieve quick success, but the wise person knows how to live deeply and peacefully. The intelligent person can gain the advantage in competitive or confrontational situations, but the wise person knows how to listen and let go when necessary. A story that can illustrate this is the story of a famous general who won hundreds of battles, but eventually chose to leave the battlefield to live in seclusion, seeking peace. He realized that winning and losing in life are just vanity, and only awakened wisdom can help people escape the cycle of suffering. Happiness is not a luxury that we must pursue at all costs. Sometimes it is just simple but meaningful moments, like waking up early in the morning to watch the sunrise or chatting with a loved one. Many people have spent their whole lives searching for happiness in faraway places, in great success or fame. But then they realize that true happiness is only present in each moment of the present. An old person living alone in a nursing home can still find joy in taking care of a small potted plant or sharing a meal with friends in the same situation. That simplicity is the key to opening the door to joy and peace of mind. Nature is a great teacher, teaching us lessons in patience and transforming adversity. The story of the grain of sand that turned into a pearl in the heart of a boy is a testament. The grain of sand, which was originally a source of suffering, became a precious pearl thanks to the boy's perseverance and patience. This is a profound lesson for us. Instead of running away from suffering, face it and use it to develop ourselves. On the contrary, when we let anger dominate us, like the story of the wild horse whose blood was sucked by a bat, we put ourselves on the path of self-destruction. Life always has challenges, but our attitude will determine the outcome. Living mindfully does not mean being far from reality or denying suffering, but knowing how to recognize, accept, and overcome it. When we let go of expectations, anger, and know how to be satisfied with the present, we will no longer be controlled by circumstances. A person can live in the middle of a noisy city, but still maintain a pure soul, thanks to knowing how to listen to himself. There is a story about an old Zen master who meditated every day in a small courtyard, but he always felt like he was in the middle of the mountains and forests. For him, peace did not depend on the outside space, but on the serenity from within. To live mindfully, we need to cultivate love and gratitude. Love is not only for our loved ones, but also for everyone, including those who have hurt us. Because only love and forgiveness can transform suffering into happiness. The story of a woman who lost her child but found comfort in helping other children is a clear proof. When we know how to give without expecting anything in return, we will receive more than we ever thought possible. Life is a series of moments, and no one knows what will happen in the future. So, live fully in each present moment. When we know how to accept and appreciate the present, we will no longer be concerned with what cannot be changed. The story of an old man meeting God, when he realized that nothing belongs to him except each moment of life, is a reminder for all of us. Enjoy every moment, love and live to the fullest. The journey through suffering and finding happiness is not an easy one, but it is a meaningful one. When we know how to live mindfully, let go and cherish every moment, we will no longer be caught up in the cycle of suffering. Let each passing day be an opportunity to love, feel, and live true to our true selves. As the Buddha taught, our mind is the beginning and end of all suffering. When our mind is at peace, everything becomes peaceful. Life is like a sea of suffering, but we can choose how to face and overcome these challenges. There are moments of brief joy mixed in with days full of suffering, but it is how we recognize and master our minds that will determine whether we can overcome suffering to live peacefully or not. In today's journey, we will explore lessons from reality, from Buddhist philosophy, and how to live mindfully in a turbulent life. This is not only a journey to find happiness, but also an opportunity to understand yourself. Suffering is inevitable, and everyone experiences it in their own way. From great losses such as losing a loved one to daily worries about money and life, we all face suffering in many different forms. Buddhism teaches that the origin of suffering comes from three things: greed, anger, and ignorance. If we know how to let go of these things, we will find relief in our hearts. A story from life shows that a mother who lost her child, instead of being immersed in suffering, turned her pain into motivation to help other children, bringing love and hope to others. Intelligent people are often good at handling situations, achieving quick success, but sometimes under heavy pressure. Meanwhile, wise people know when to act and when to let go. They understand that fame and money are just ephemeral. A businessman who gives up profits to help others, not out of calculation, but out of compassion, is proof of a wise person. A wise person does not live for his own benefit, but understands the great value of living in harmony and compassion with everyone. Happiness does not need to be sought far away. It lies in every present moment if we know how to appreciate it. Some people spend their whole lives chasing money and status without knowing that happiness can be as simple as the little things around them, such as a family meal or a morning watching the sunrise. A story about an old lady in a nursing home who always smiles every day despite her lack of material things, because she knows that happiness does not come from what she has, but from how she accepts and lives fully in every moment. Facing adversity is not the time to deny or be angry. Nature teaches us that even in the most difficult circumstances, hope can still sprout. The grain of sand that turned into a pearl in the heart of a clam through a long and painful process of patience is a testament to the power of patience. The wild horse that let itself die of exhaustion because of its uncontrolled anger is a reminder to all of us. Learn to control our emotions and turn adversity into inner strength. Only when we live mindfully can we let go of anger and unnecessary expectations. Living mindfully does not mean giving up the world, but clearly recognizing what is happening so as not to be caught up in the vortex of ambition and suffering. A Zen master, even though living in the city, still maintains peace thanks to the ability to calm his mind and observe everything with a clear eye. That is the art of living mindfully in the midst of life's ups and downs. Love not only alleviates suffering, but also helps us live happier. When we love and appreciate others, we create a peaceful environment for ourselves. A woman who lost her child but did not close her heart. Instead, she gave her love to other children is a testament to the power of love. When we give, we receive more and turn ourselves into a source of positive energy for those around us. Life is not measured by years, but by how we live each moment. When we accept everything with gratitude and appreciation, each day becomes more meaningful. Instead of chasing after the unattainable, live fully in the present. A story about an old man facing death, realizing that he only truly owns each moment of life, is a valuable lesson for us. Don't let time pass by meaninglessly. Enjoy and live to the fullest. The journey of living mindfully and overcoming suffering is not easy, but when we know how to let go, love, and live in the present, we will find true happiness. As the Buddha taught, suffering arises from the mind, and when the mind is purified, all suffering will disappear. Let's start with ourselves to find peace and tranquility. Suffering is not only something we need to overcome, but also a great teacher that helps us grow. Without challenges, it is difficult to understand ourselves. Imagine a life without any hardships. Can we grow and develop ourselves? As the Buddha said, without mud, there is no lotus. From suffering, people learn to appreciate happiness, to cherish the small but meaningful moments. A man once suffered a great failure in his career, but from there, he learned to face adversity, rebuild from scratch, and become a strong person, full of gratitude. This is a lesson in accepting things that cannot be changed and turning them into a source of motivation. One of the biggest causes of suffering is attachment. When we hold on to something, from fame, material things to relationships, we bind ourselves and become slaves to the things we own. In reality, nothing belongs to us forever. A story about a Zen master living in an ancient temple where he learned to let go of everything from material things to even thoughts shows us the relief that freedom brings. He does not worry about tomorrow, does not regret the past, but lives fully in the present. Letting go does not mean giving up everything, but not letting yourself be bound by them. That is the way to achieve inner freedom. Living mindfully is not something that is only done in a few minutes of meditation every day, but is a state of clear awareness in every breath. A mindful person knows how to appreciate every moment, knows how to listen to himself, and does not let his heart be shaken by external circumstances. Like a bird in the vast sky, living mindfully is knowing how to fly high, but also knowing how to return to the peaceful place in his soul. The story of a father who found happiness by ignoring the stress of work and spending time every day playing with his children is a clear demonstration of the value of living mindfully. Each of us has the capacity to love and feel happiness through love. A loving person not only brings joy to himself, but also spreads positive energy to others. Even though the world is full of things that are not as expected, when we open our hearts and know how to care, we will receive love in return. The story of a woman who helped orphans after losing her child emphasizes that it was love that helped her escape suffering and find meaning in life. Our journey is not just about overcoming suffering, but also about learning and understanding ourselves. In every moment of life, we have the opportunity to turn back and look deep into our hearts, to identify the habits, thoughts, and actions that cause us suffering. When we identify, we can change and renew ourselves. A Zen master once said, "Your greatest enemy is yourself." This quote reminds us that we cannot conquer the outside world without understanding ourselves. Humans, regardless of their circumstances, have a good nature. But over time, pressures and fears have caused us to cover up that good nature. Buddhism teaches that when we know how to practice compassion, we will see this good nature in ourselves and others. Like the story of a reformed criminal, thanks to the sympathy and help of those around him, he not only changed himself, but also inspired others. Everyone can regain this good nature if they know how to listen and live with compassion. The world is always moving and changing. Nothing is forever. To live peacefully, we must learn to accept impermanence and not let our hearts cling to what cannot be kept. A love, a job, or even life can change. When we understand that everything is a result of fate, we will no longer suffer too much when things disappear or change. This does not mean living a life of resignation, but living fully in the present, but accepting change when it comes. A story about a teacher who lost his best friend, but then understood that the fate had ended and focused on helping many others, is proof of this. Mindfulness is not a temporary state, but a lifelong journey. It helps us recognize and overcome all suffering, find peace in every breath, every moment of life. When living mindfully, we are no longer caught up in the illusions of fame or the pain of loss. We will live freely, peacefully, and find joy from the smallest but most genuine things in life.